Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I want to warn you guys first. I may have to record two separate portions, so if you see a weird little skip somewhere in the middle, it's because my phone is about to overheat and explode because I recorded in my garage and right now it's like 118. So yeah. Anyway, unboxing time. This is super exciting because this is an expensive knife. One that I did not think I was going to be picking up anytime soon, but I saw it, I got the craving for it. I've had the craving for something like this for a while now, and well, I pulled the trigger. I cashed out all my points on DLT trading. I had some store credit. I threw everything I possibly could to get this freaking thing, and well, it's here. This is the American standard of knives, and with that statement, a lot of you could probably guess what this is. Chances are I'm probably going to make a thumbnail that is representative of the actual brand itself. I forgot to mention completely, this was my carry today. This is the MSI. As you can see, we are very close up, and the MSI is also the biggest knife in my collection. If you think an MSI is not a big knife, well, I live in a area where something like that is kind of out of the ordinary for size. But let's get into this. This is a Chris Reeve knife. This is going to be my first experience with a large Sebenza 31. It's a plain Jane, nothing fancy, bare bones basic. The coolest thing about it is that it is in the CPM Magna Cut, which is just freaking sick. So I'm very excited to get a hold of some well heat treated Magna Cut, because honestly the industry standard is just a couple points below of what it really should be, and to an enthusiast, little things like that matter, especially when you're spending upwards of $550 to $600 for some knives. Again, this is in the US pricing. You can get Magna Cut relatively cheap. I think the cheapest Magna Cut you can get is probably like the Hogue Deca. Yeah, and they do the heat treat rather well. So basic stuff, nothing really super important. You can see this is the card of authenticity. Right there, CPM Magna Cut 63 to 64, pretty sweet. Gold double studs, which is cool. I'm not super crazy about gold, but I can care less. I think it adds a little pop of color. Oh yeah. Oh man. This is nice. This looks really nice. And it's not super chalky like what I remember the small 31 feeling like. I had something quite similar to this. It was a small 31, and it had a really chalky texture. This was I think a glass blast. Yeah, glass blasted, and I think that's referencing the scales. Let's go ahead and get this blade out. Lanyard there, that's coming off for sure. Let's see if I can flick this out of the box. Nope. Nope. Oh, that is tight. Jesus. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not gonna happen right out of the box. Oh my gosh. This thing feels... I mean, there's nothing else out there that I, as of this moment, have handled that feels anything like a Sebenza or anything made by Chris Reeve knives. So I'm gonna mess with this a little bit. From my understanding, Chris Reeve is definitely the gold standard for US production knives, which is, it is a rather, large statement, of course. But my own personal experience with two examples, one with an Insingo blade, I think it's the Insingo blade, the sheep's footy one, and then the other was a drop point. The factory edges, honestly, they were kind of shit. Regardless of who you are, whether you agree with me or not, personally, from my own two experiences with units that came out within the last year and a half, 2 years, I wasn't the biggest fan of them. But we're gonna go ahead and, oh wow, that is a very aggressive, very grabby but looks can be deceiving, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little piece of paper real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and test it out. We'll take the weight and then we'll compare it to stuff in my collection that I thought would be a good comparison. Okay. Maybe they're just putting a little bit more effort into the large, or maybe the large is just a little easier to sharpen, as well as possibly a different person could be sharpening them. But like I said, my own personal experience of 2 examples within the last 2 years, and that's being generous, I was not impressed at all with the sharpness out of the box. This is wonderful. This is on par with something that Spyderco can do, which is a compliment, absolutely. But yeah, wow, this thing is pretty darn good looking, and it is rather lengthy. So, okay, let's do the weight real quick. Let's check this out. Now, it should be relatively lightweight. 4.7. For the size of the knife overall, honestly, I have no complaints about that. 0 internal milling, full thickness. The only relief you get is from the actual relief cuts there, and that's about it. So this isn't gonna stay on for long, and a little rattly. Normal things there, of course. Let's put it up against a handful of things in my current collection that I actually use a lot for work. So this is the original button lock one, I guess. It's a lengthy Elementum for sure. The CMB Maiden Knives Predator. As you can see, both of these examples are significantly shorter, and I'm honestly really surprised. I thought this was going to be about the similar size of these guys. Here's a Manix 2, the titanium titty, and the Manix 2 comes close, but not close enough. The only other thing in my collection that is long enough would be this MSI, and MSI also being, full US, even with these titanium original goat scales. These things are freaking beautiful. I've been carrying this knife a lot more now that I have them on there. The MSI is still longer than it overall, but I was kind of going back and forth between the drop point and the sheep's foot variation. They were about the same price. A couple retailers fluctuated $25 to maybe $65 for the difference in blade shape. Some offered free shipping, some didn't. Some had points available to earn on the site, some didn't. So I just kind of went all over the place. But I settled on DLT trading. And as far as I know, this exact same model is still available. Now it is still, I believe they were $550. After everything was said and done, this is essentially like a $610, $615 knife. Ouch, that's a lot of money. To me, it's a lot of money. But as I mentioned earlier, I was able to throw a lot of little things at it to get it to a much more palatable price. So I'm very happy about that. This definitely doesn't hurt financially by any means. So that's why this was a pretty confident purchase for me. This actually does have a date on the inside. I could see, it looks like quarter D, which I believe was within the last couple months of last year, 2003. So that's pretty cool. From what I know, and maybe this could just be a rumor, but I heard a couple people saying that the first couple batches, like the first 2 quarters that Chris Reeve Knives was producing units with MagnaCut, that they were running it really low. Lower than the current industry standard, just to pump it out and just get it out there. All right. I don't know if that's true or not. If anybody knows, please educate me in the comments section. I would love to learn, just so I could speak a little bit more confidently about it. But as it is, I think I'm gonna have a good time with this. I thought I was gonna have to sharpen this right out of the box, which I don't mind. This is a wonderful, wonderful blade shape to sharpen, definitely. And just take a look at how much life you can actually get out of this thing. This thing's just freaking, it's beautiful. This is a workhorse. This is a beater knife, and a very, very expensive beater knife, but that's essentially what this is. There's nothing fancy about this. There's nothing special about this. It's just the holy grail of beater user knives. And if you can hear a dog whimpering in the back, that is not mine. That is my sister-in-law's dog that has severe human separation anxiety, and if he doesn't see me for, you know, within the next like 5 minutes, he's probably going to collapse out of just stress. But hey, whatever. Reverse flicking this, it's probably never gonna happen, but so far I think I'm gonna have a real good time with this. Jimping on the spine, elite, of course. Crown there, beautiful. Not a super dainty tip, definitely you know, quite useful there. I don't think I'd have to be too gentle about it. Not that I'm doing anything inappropriate with this, of course. This is a cutting tool, not a pry bar. You have a relatively deep for what it is for the height of the actual blade overall. The hollow grind itself, beautiful. The flat there, and just a very sterile build. There's nothing on the freaking blade. This thing's just beautiful. You have here milled in right there, and then on this side, Idaho made. That's wonderful. And the clip, from my past experiences, I never got any like aftermarket clips. There are now like 30 different aftermarket people that are making clips for this, which is awesome, and all different types of materials, different designs as well. I don't remember having a bad time with the standard clip, so I'm gonna leave it alone for now, right? But if this is something that I decide that I absolutely love and it's gonna stay in the collection for, you know, I'm not just gonna get rid of it, or if I can't find something to hate about this thing, it's gonna stay, and it's probably going to get modified. I can do something with the hardware. It's steel, of course. All the hardware on here is steel, so I can do something with a map gas torch, do some like color changey, this and that or the other. Also, hey, there we go. The titanium, well, it's titanium of the highest grade possible, so I can achieve really every color in the anodizing spectrum. And take a look at that. With a little bit of wrist, I'm able to get that out. Oh man, I'm pretty sure by tomorrow my thumb is going to be just gone, obliterated, but at least I'll be able to flick it. Maintaining these things are super easy, so I'm not really worried about anything about this thing. Rock solid, up or down, nothing. Now, one thing that a lot of people who, and I definitely fell into this myself, a lot of people who have gotten their first Chris Reeve knife and have you know, interacted with the Reeve integral lock, with the large ceramic detent interface, whatever you want to call it, their method of contact, sorry, dog over there again, people who have interacted that will wrench up and down on this thing and feel the tiniest bit of movement. That typically does increase a little bit, but it's because it's on that ball. It's not technically on a flat surface, it's on a rounded surface. And there it goes. Sorry about that little cut there. But people that notice that little up and down movement, it's technically normal. The knife is still locking up and down solidly, and it's fine, solidly. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out how to speak 25 years into it. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I think I'll have a good time with this. There's, like I mentioned before, there's nothing super special. There's nothing super fancy about this. I know for a fact the inlaid versions would be a whole lot more ergonomic and comfortable, but I personally didn't really see the worth in spending upwards of $100, maybe $125 just for inlays. So I just not for me. And plus, this is This was a lot more affordable. This has more customizing abilities, at least for, you know, my current skill set right now. I know you can pop out inlays and make new ones, or you know, commission somebody to do fancy stuff for you, but I'm not about that yet. But also a handful of people I've heard complain about the large being, well, a little too large, and the small being a little too small, and I can definitely see where they're coming with that. This is significantly larger. The majority of the stuff that I enjoy carrying day to day, for example, something that's found its way into the pocket a lot, like a lot around the house and at work, just going out, is this little dude right here. This is a pyrite light, CGRB pyrite light. Different blade shape, completely different material set here, but it's freaking tiny in comparison. This thing, I personally don't believe I'm gonna have a difficult time or consider this a cumbersome item to work with, because I comfortably use the MSI at work and it's not really big of a deal. Now, from what I remember, and I could be off by give or take a 1/4 inch, but the small was around the size of this little dude right here. This is the MBK Sea Otter, Monterey Bay Knives Sea Otter. So yeah, kind of a that's a pretty significant difference. I don't honestly ever really see Chris Reeve Knives creating a medium. That would be really cool. Chris Reeve Sabenza M, that would be pretty darn sweet. They wouldn't be able to keep those on the shelves. And you know what's funny is that just within my very short period of time within this wonderful hobby, I got to see Hinder knives, Chris Reeve knives, Herman knives, plenty others that I can't even think of right now because my brain's fried. Just come and go really fast, and being brands that are so hard to get now, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. Now, maybe the specific one that you're after, or super rare variations or sprint runs of the sorts, they're still hard to get, yeah. But something like this was not available, you know, to people that weren't in the know, weren't in clubs or ready for drops or this, that, and the other, and had money sitting in their account for that, right? So I still do consider myself lucky, but seeing that DLT Trading still had this sitting there for over a week, and then I go and get it, and they're still sitting there now, that it's, you know, it after placing the order and after a holiday, you know, a week later, and they're still there. So I mean, these are highly sought after knives, but maybe not as much as I thought. Maybe money's, you know, run dry for a lot of people, and I completely understand that. I've been there way too many times in a short period of time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Ramble over. I'm hot. My phone is hot. These dogs over here are hot, and I'm not talking about my feet. I'm talking about my own pets and my sister-in-law's pets that we're babysitting. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead, leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I put more videos and content coming you guys this way. Take care.